Welcome to the next video in this series, and today we are going to understand the pricing of Azure Load Balancer. All the four load balancers that we have talked about, explored, we are going to understand the pricing of all those load balancers. So, Azure Load Balancer, Application Gateway, then we had Traffic Manager and Azure Front Door. This is something which is really important because whenever you go and talk to customer as a pre-sales, or whenever you go and prepare the solutioning, all the five pillars of Azure well architected framework comes into the picture so that you can provide the best possible solution for the customer. And these load balancers, one of these will always be part of your solution. The point I'm trying to make here is you must know how these things charged, right? The pricing is very important because for even its security, resiliency, or performance, everything is based on the trade-offs, right? When you prepare the disaster, the RPO, RTO, all are trade-offs with price, with cost. And when we talk about public cloud, it's all about, pay as you go model. So you should be aware how much we are paying and how much we are going. So pay as you go model, right? So that's the reason I thought let's create this video where we try to understand the pricing of all those four load balancers that we have talked about or explored till now. All right. So let's start with the Azure Load Balancer. We have, let's quickly go to the pricing calculator. All right. Whenever you have to understand the pricing or the cost, you need to go to Azure Pricing Calculator. Just type Azure Pricing Calculator and you'll get your calculator. Okay. That's how it looks like. You can log in with your MS account here. And then I have added, you need to search here. This is the search bar. If we need to add Azure Load Balancer, we need to type Azure Load Balancer. Okay, we can type Load Balancer right here, Traffic Manager. So I've added Load Balancer. This is our Azure Load Balancer. Things that you need to keep in mind is all region would not cost same. Okay, there is a pricing difference as per the region. Now there is a difference as per the tier. Azure Load Balancer has three tiers: basic, standard, and gateway. So let's select the standard first. You'll see five rules are there with some basic price. If you decrease it, nothing changes. This is a base price, right? But if you increase it from 5 to 6, it will change. So the pricing is depends on how many rules you are creating. 5 is there with the base price. Net rules are free of cost, and there is a data processing cost. 1000 GB, 0.005 per GB. If you are thinking like 1000 GB will be there, then $5 for a month. All right, now let's quickly go through the documentation for Azure Pricing Calculator. Um, Documentation for Azure Load Balancing Prices. Now, here you can see first five rules that we saw on the Azure Pricing Calculator. Regional price and the global price, because we know Azure Load Balancer is global as well. So global price is this, regional is this. Both seems same to me for first five rules. But it is per hour, and the pricing that you're seeing in the calculator, it wasn't per hour, so don't get confused. Okay, this is for a month. Okay, let me try to see monthly cost, right? Okay, now get back here. Inbound net rules free, and data processing per GB cost is here. This is for the standard load balancer. For gateway load balancer, there is a gateway hour pricing, chain hour pricing, and data processed. Data processed are same, but there is chaining happens, right? If you remember, we use gateway for the NVAs. We request load balancers to send the traffic to the gateway load balancer so that it can scan it, filter it through the NVAs. So those chain hour and the gateway hours are there. Now, if you go and see, these are something important points here we should go through. Is a partial hour billed as a full hour? Yes. So it means we are doing hourly pricing. It's not on minute or second, it's hourly pricing. Billed as a full hour. Are there limit or number of sets of rules that I can create? Yes, there is a limit. What type of rules are included? Number of configured load balancing and outbound rules. All are configured as a rule. 5 rules that we're talking about. But the inbound net rule doesn't count in the total number of rules which are free. No cost applies there. Uh, yeah, is there any hourly charge for standard load balancer when no rules are configured? No, there is not. Okay. How is data process charged? We have seen already there the amount of data processed. Now it is counting both inbound and outbound independent of the rules. So data processing has nothing to do with the rules. How much data is going in and going out, it will calculate as per that. Now, is data process charged for inbound and outbound through standard load balancer for Azure PaaS services when we are using PaaS at the backend? Yes, any traffic going in and out of the standard load balancer is charged. That is the data processed. This is very important to understand. Data processed is both incoming and outgoing, both as per this FAQ, as you can see. Any traffic going in and out of the standard load balancer is charged. Is no charge for the ingress data if you are uh, sending, transferring, moving data to the Azure data center. But here we are talking about the pricing of load balancer, the data processed through the load balancer. This is little different than that. Okay, so Azure Load Balancer is good. Now let's try to see application gateway. Let's try to check the application gateway. If I click on application gateway pricing, as you can see, application gateway pricing, uh, you'll see application gateway v2 is something that we use it now. This is what is recommended. Now, gateway v2 has application gateway basic, standard, and WAF. There is a fixed price for all these things that we choose. If I try to show you on the Azure portal here, the tier basic, standard v2, and WAF v2. So if we choose any of those, okay, application gateway, these are the pricing. So there is a fixed price and there is a price of capacity unit. And of course, data transfer, inbound and outbound. Inbound data going into the Azure data center is free. Here you can see it is free. Outbound data going out of Azure data center for application gateway, it is chargeable. Now, if we see the capacity unit measures consumption based cost that is charged in addition to the fixed cost. Capacity unit charge is also computed hourly or partially hourly. There are three dimensions to capacity unit: compute unit, persistent connection, and throughput. If we need to explore it further, just click here. Here we have all the breakdown. Application gateway v2, fixed cost, capacity unit cost, and data cost. Total cost, fixed cost plus capacity unit cost. Now, capacity unit is the measure of capacity utilization of app gateway across multiple parameters. What are these parameters? 2500 persistent connection. This is single capacity unit has these capabilities: 2.2 Mbps throughput and 1 compute unit. And we can also pre-provision resources by specifying the instance count. Each instance guarantees a minimum of 10 capacity unit. That's how you can calculate it. right? And it also there is also data. Here is the proper calculation, okay? But if we go back, there is a fixed and the capacity, and there is a data transfer. There is no price as such, okay? Data going out of Azure data centers from application gateway, example, charged at standard data transfer rates that we can check here. Bandwidth pricing. It will go under the bandwidth pricing. But when we were checking this on our load balancer, you found there was a little disagreement there. Data processed. This is data processed 0.005 per GB. Okay, data processed. Now this data processed is both incoming and outgoing. Okay, let me show you just to so that it would be clear. How is data process charged? Amount of data processed inbound and outbound, independent of the rules, through load balancer. This is processed, even if it is Azure PaaS services. Hope it is clear now. Okay. So the third is traffic manager. Now, traffic manager pricing. Traffic manager is billing based on the number of DNS query received with a discount of services receiving more than 1 billion monthly queries. The point is number of DNS queries and the health checks. Okay, first billion DNS per month. This is the pricing. So the traffic manager based on the pricing of traffic manager based on number of DNS queries and the health checks it does for the backend endpoints. There is a different for the different endpoints. If it is external, it has a different price. And then there is a real user measurement, measuring Azure regions, right? There is a price for the traffic view as well. If we go to Azure pricing calculator, and if we see this is the application gate we talked about, data processed 0. Okay, let's try to make it 1000. You see, even data processing on app gateway has price. You see here. Outbound is the common bandwidth thing. The same way it will be charged. 72. Let's try with the load balancer. Data process 5. There is no outbound as such because here data processed incoming and outbound both are counted here as per the FAQ. So here it is $8. Here it is $5. Okay, there is no other option for outbound, but here we have outbound data transfer. Okay, if we choose, okay, there is no other option to choose, right? NAT is free. Bandwidth charge are also applicable. So this is what the outbound is. Okay. All right, now we were checking the traffic manager, DNS queries, health checks, see external endpoint, fast interval health check add-on on external endpoint. Now here is real user measurement. Traffic Manager Real User Measurement currently supports measuring only Azure regions and the traffic view. So if you're using these features, traffic view, it has its own price. Million data points processed. Like if I say 1,000, it's very expensive, right? 100 for $2,000, $2 per month. It's 100 million data points processed. Traffic view. Okay. It has in the traffic manager we have this option as a pay and we can use that. Now we talk about Azure front door. It has first 5 rule, additional rules, custom domain, additional domain, WAF, custom rules, manage rule set. Everything is charged. All right, so let's go through and have a read about the pricing. Front door pricing. So Azure front door is has like 2 SKUs, standard and premium. So it depends, pricing depend on the SKUs. There is a base fee for both, fixed price for standard and premium. And apart from that, there is an outbound data transfer from edge to client. See, edge to client. There is a charge. Outbound data transfer from edge to origin. Remember last video? There is a price. So edge, outbound from edge is We have to pay. Request incoming from client to front door edge location. So those incoming requests also charged. Free data transfer from an origin in Azure data center to front edge. Only when the data is going out from the Azure data center, which is free. So base price and outbound. There are basically 5 points that you need to consider. Outbound data transfer from edge, outbound data transfer edge to origin, edge to client, incoming request, and base fee. So that's how these things are calculated. So whenever you are planning to utilize one of these load balancer in your design, in your architecture, you need to be aware, right? What kind of application are those? How many requests customer is expecting or existing application usage, so that you could come across a pricing estimate which is correct. No surprises at the end of the month, right? So with this, let's close the video. Well, thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching.